What is going on, YouTube? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for some news. I'm going to preface this video with a couple different things. One, I am not a tax expert by any means. So do not take any of this as tax advice. I know what I need to do for my stuff, barely, with the help from professionals. Two, do not, under any circumstances, get into political debates in the comment section of this video. I'm going to leave that at that. I don't care what side you're on. I don't want to see it in the comments down below. I will not have my comment section turn into most of the internet. That being said, like the video, comment, sub. This is potentially a big one. Let's get into it. So, the stimulus package was passed today. As some of you may have seen, this has been floating around, but I've yet to see any major coverage of it yet. Boy, if you ever told me I'd be making a video on congress.gov web pages a year ago, I would have looked at you crazy. Anyway, I'm not going to read through the specific language because it's written in legalese. There was an article on Politico on this, and this e-commerce Bytes website covered it as well. I will link to these down below. What's happening exactly? Slipped into the COVID relief package thing that was passed is tax reporting changes. As many of you may know, when you sell on eBay or use PayPal goods and services, and this actually affects a lot more than these two entities. This affects a ton of different people. But for our concern, PayPal goods and services, eBay, anything like that, if you make $20,000 in sales and 200 transactions, you are automatically issued a 1099. And then you have to pay taxes on that income. Now, people, I get it. Legally, everyone should be reporting any income regardless whether you hit the threshold or not. I completely understand that. Some people do that. I'm going to guess most don't. You know, you sell a couple thousand, you sell a couple Zions on eBay, you know, get your $1,400, $2,000 in profit or whatever, you know, move on to the next thing. You know, maybe you sell a couple cards a year or whatever. I'm going to guess most people aren't reporting that. You do you. I don't know. I'm not sitting there at your computer. Legally, you're supposed to. Well, now you're not going to have a choice. The reporting requirements have now changed. It is now $600. No longer 20,200 transactions. It is now $600. If you make more than $600 on eBay or on PayPal goods and services, you will receive a 1099 in the mail in January or February. Now, let me preface this. This does not start until next year. So this does not affect anything that you do for this year. The effective date is post December 31st, 2021. So January 1st, 2022, this will be in effect. I assume something could change from now to then. Maybe it gets repealed. Part of it, the law gets changed. Who knows? I didn't pay a lot of attention in social studies. I'm not a political person. It's whatever. I'm sure this could potentially change, but as of right now, this is coming. I think this could have massive ripples on the sports card, comic book, collecting, investing, flipping, whatever you want to call it, community. Once again, I am not a tax professional, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you the ways that you could go about lessening the burden and all that. LLCs, deductions, itemize this, schedule C's, D's, E's, F's, whatever. That is not my area of expertise, so I'm not going to get into all that nonsense. But this is going to catch people off guard. One, That's for sure. A lot of people are not even going to know that this exists. Maybe it gets more run um, once people figure out what's in the bill and everything. I'm sure this will get talked about a lot more. But I have to imagine this has major ripple effects throughout the current marketplace. This is at worst case scenario, it's going to take at least some of your margins. Even if you do everything correctly, set up an LLC, start tracking, profits, losses, expenses, all that stuff. However you need to do that. Once again, not giving tax advice here and what you can and can't write off and all that stuff. But even if you do all that, it's still going to cut into some of your profits. And then you still now have to do all the work to track all that if you're not already doing that. I know a lot of people do. The people playing the game at the high end are probably already LLC'd up and already doing this or have a system or whatever with their accountant to cover themselves for all this. It's the people that are in the weird middle that either haven't been reporting correctly that are now going to be forced to, or that didn't even realize this was a thing. And there are some, like I said, I think I said it earlier in the video, there are some states that's already like this. It's a $600 report. I know Massachusetts is one. And I think there's a couple of other ones. So I don't remember off the top of my head all of them, but this is out there in some places already, but not very many. This is now at the federal level. So it's the weird people in the middle that are doing, thousands of dollars in sales, but maybe not hitting a transaction limit. Or maybe they're doing, a bunch of transactions, but they're only selling like $5,000 worth of stuff a year. Whatever, the tax man's coming. And yes, he was already supposed to be there. And yes, you should already be reporting all profits or all sales, whatever. But like I said before, how many people were versus weren't? And now a lot of people are going to be forced to. I mean, this has drastic, in my opinion, this has drastic effects on eBay's business, period, full stop. That's me looking at it from an outsider. Once, as I famously like to say, I'm just a guy talking into a microphone. And this is definitely way out of my depth. But, your mom or dad or your grandma or grandpa have some junk laying around and they throw it on eBay and it sells for a few $100 here, a few $100 there. They go over $600. Here comes the $10.99 at the end of the year, just for selling some stuff. It doesn't, $600 is nothing. That is nothing to hit $600. Even just random junk laying around the house, that's nothing. That's just a couple little things. You sell a used iPad and an iPhone or something and you're at $600. Old digital camera, whatever. Now you start getting in the sports cards and collectibles. And a lot of people had a feeling this was going to be coming. But I really do think this is going to have or could have major impacts on our world, whether you're coming from the sports card angle, the comic book angle, selling toys, whatever. If you do business on eBay at a small size level, this is really going to hit you. So what does this mean in the long run? We have a year to get ready for this. Essentially, it's March, so we have 9 months. Start researching, start getting your ducks in a row. If you're going to, continue to take this semi-seriously next year, you're probably going to need to look at minimum, hiring an accountant or getting a lot better tax software than the standard stuff, and potentially looking at, moving into LLC territory, depending on what your sales and volume are. And there's really not a lot of good workarounds for that. I mean, eBay and PayPal are the two primary ways. And don't think you're going to get around this by paying friends and family, because PayPal's been cracking down on friends and family left and right. There's also been talks I've seen about Facebook Marketplace beginning to charge fees and track this stuff. So really the only ways around it are cash and trade. So is this the rise of the card show and shops again? Part of the reason the hobby exploded is the liquidity of the online marketplace. If not saying that it still wouldn't be liquid, but it's not going to be as profitable, I don't think, for a lot of sellers. And maybe I'm just overthinking this. or not, I don't want to say overthinking, but overreacting to this. I don't know. To me, this kind of seems like a little bit of a big deal for a lot of people, for a bulk of the people in the hobby, that they're not operating at, this is my full-time business high end versus, this is something I do on the side to the day job. I flip a few cards here, hit the card show once a month, whatever, buy a couple boxes a year, rip them and grade, sell those, whatever. I would assume that this would affect breakers if they're using PayPal to get paid. And maybe there's weird things that they can write off there with cost of product and all that. Once again, I have no idea. So I'm going to keep saying it in this video. Do not take anything I am saying as tax advice, and do not get into politics in the comments. So I just wanted to put this on your guys' radar. Like I said, I've seen it shared a couple different places. There's a big forum, and I will link to that as well. A big forum post on Blowout about this. It was going around the SCI Discord. I've seen a couple small posts about it on Facebook, etc. But I really do think this is going to cause at least some disruption. Do I think it's going to pop the bubble or anything like that? I don't think so, but I really don't know. Is this the death of sports cards and collectibles markets and flipping and grading and whatnot? No, I don't think so. But if 20% of people, 10% of people are like, you know what? I do this on the side. I spend a few $1,000, maybe 5,000, 6,000 a year, buying, selling, trading, flipping sports cards. Now, if I have to do all this accounting, tracking, and all this just isn't worth my time anymore. It's turning into a second job. There's going to be a segment of people, I think, that feel this way, depending on what this all turns into and how this all shakes out. So we don't know a ton yet. Like I said, it's in there. I would highly suggest that you go check out these 2 articles, check out the Blowout forum thread, and do your own homework. See what your situation is. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this is like it? I don't know that we know, so I don't want to be too knee jerk here. And like I said, technically you're supposed to be doing this the entire time. Now it's going to be done for you whether you want to or not. So, it is what it is. But like I said, I have to imagine the majority of people were not necessarily reporting every little nickel and dime of income. But now it is. Now it's going to happen. So that's all I got for you guys today. Be curious for your thoughts on this one. Like I said, I've been keeping an eye on this. I was waiting for it to finally go through today before making the video on it to make sure that it stayed in there, and it appears that it did. So once again, let me know your non-political thoughts down below. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.